Hi, welcome to the Kingdom Building Podcast. My name is Zach Howard, and we are here to document the journey of Kingdom Martial Arts as it develops as a business and how we can help prevent child sexual assault from occurring in our families and communities. That is part of our mission. So, I want to welcome you to the very first episode. This is just going to kind of be an introductory video / podcast. We'll have this up on the YouTube channel and your favorite podcast listening channel, Spotify or the podcast app, whichever you prefer. So I just wanted to kind of share my story a little bit of where we got, and like how we got here. Who am I? Why you should care to listen to me? And for all the people at Podcast 100, when you go back and you binge and listen to these, hi, welcome all you other lovely people in the future who I haven't met yet. Welcome. So, my name is Zach Howard. I've done martial arts for almost 20 years. I grew up in the Premier Martial Arts system, so I'm a third degree black belt under Premier Martial Arts. I got certified in 2015 as a third degree under Ernie Kirk and Barry Vanover. That's a little bit of like my martial arts background. I did Krav Maga, Muay Thai kickboxing, some grappling, sport martial arts. I really, really love parkour and tricking, so I've got a really broad martial arts background, and I kind of developed up into parkour, free running, tricking, and I really enjoy doing a lot of that. I just recently got back into doing martial arts this past year. Left a job at Chick-fil-A, was originally contracting I live in Columbus, Georgia, at Fort Moore. So I was just, kind of floating around some jobs, and a local ministry was looking for a martial arts instructor. So I got back in. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to get chugging. And as my time spent like developing the curriculum and the program and getting back to teaching and like starting to think business stuff, I'm like, man, I'm really ready to like put on the big boy pants, like build a business, like accept all the hardship and risks that comes to like giving an immense amount of value to you guys or the kids that are in my class, the parents of those kids. I just wanted to take my background and give as much value to them as I could. So started doing classes in the spring of 2023. It is now July 2023. We've just started our summer classes. So over the spring, during those 16 weeks, going back through, doing the martial arts, the self-protection, the Krav Maga with the kids, and I just had a realization, like the things that I grew up learning about for self-protection and the things that we talked about with the younger kids was predominantly like stranger danger and very contact-oriented abduction kind of level, like threat level stuff. Things that didn't quite, like, it really taught the kids how to fight. Huge benefit there. Good confidence against bullies. But in terms of building proper responses of how to handle, like, specific situations, everything that I've learned, like, ill-equipped me, and we ill-equipped, I believe, the kids that we were serving for facing threats that are much, much more common. And so I started looking at like what are some of the biggest threats that our kids face nowadays, and one of the most alarming ones that I came across, and that's super prevalent in our society, is child sexual abuse. And so that's why part of our mission, my mission as a martial arts instructor and this small business owner, is to stop and help prevent child sexual assault. We're doing that, the framework that I've kind of been like going through and developing. I'm working on an online course right now for this. I'm implementing it into the classes that I'm teaching, are 3 frameworks that I'm calling Perceive, I spelled it right, Prevent, and Protect. All right, and this is kind of our 3-step framework. We want to be able to see the threats. We want to stop them from happening before they occur by setting up good frameworks of accountability and monitoring and making sure that we are present with our children. And then protecting. I'm going to try to do a shield here. All right, and then, oh man, look at that little kite shield there. Yeah. Protecting our kids against violent situations. So if a perpetrator does get physical and get violent during an instance of child sexual abuse, equipping children to have proper responses. Okay, these are the kind of frameworks that I'm coming up with, I'm implementing, so we are still kind of early in their development. I expect that these will change and grow throughout the journey of Kingdom Martial Arts. Another big reason, a part of what we're doing, just because I want to be fully transparent, is I want to get out of my corporate cube style office job that's paying me a lot of money, where I'm really bored and I am not connected with the work that I'm doing, and I do not feel like I'm providing adequate value that's aligned with my core skills and my beliefs. And so starting this business, I've always really been interested in business. I had a side program that I was doing while I was in martial arts. I did curriculum development for that. I was teaching tricking to kids, which is all the gymnastics, acrobatic stuff for the sport martial arts. I had a program that I did that, made some side money. I helped start a parkour gym with two of my other friends here in town, Level Up Parkour. One of my good friends, Chase, that we started that with, recently passed away over a year ago. And so that gym has been being managed by one of our other friends from Auburn who has moved into town. But when that happened, it was should I take the gym? I had just started at Chick-fil-A because I kind of didn't reapply for my prior job because of the cookies that we were being threatened to take. So I didn't initially go back to that job, was at Chick-fil-A for a while. Eventually all of those mandatory requirements kind of got alleviated, and I was able to go back and get that pay increase again. But it's providing for the family, but it's been very, very difficult for me to connect with the work that I'm doing. As you can see, I can just talk about this, and this is a lot more fun. And I get to, not that child sexual abuse is fun, but coming up with ways to prevent it. Because guess what? Here's some really good news. And hopefully this is a gold nugget. I want to talk about that for just a little bit. Child sexual assault, child sexual abuse, which is just abbreviated CSA. Okay, so a little bit of prevalence as I'm bringing some entrepreneurial spirit. How do we solve this problem? Statistically, where's the biggest area of improvement that we could make? And right now, 1 out of every 9 girls is abused, and 1 out of every 20 boys is abused. 93% of those children know the perpetrator. Only 7% is stranger danger. So stranger danger is almost a myth, okay? 7% is still, significant. But in comparison to people we know, acquaintances, family makes up roughly 35%. I'm going to be really general here. Acquaintances is 55, so the math would work out as I'm trying to make sure that I'm mathing right. It's 38 or something like that. Of family, and 55% is acquaintances. All right. So family is your father, your grandfather, your mother, your uncle, your cousin. Those almost stereotypical perpetrators. And then the 55% that are acquaintances, those could be friends, brothers or sisters of friends, babysitters, coaches, teachers, etc., etc. All right? But out of those 93%, out of these kids that are victimized, 70% of the people they know, 70% of them are juveniles, which means they are under the age of 18. 70% of them are juveniles. There's a lot of youthful ignorance and stupidity that from our sinful hearts, because we don't talk about this, we don't educate our teenagers as much as we should about consent and the criminality and what sexual assault looks like. There's a whole lot of really stupid teenage boys, and the peak age is 14. So most of the perpetrators are male. For 80% are females. All right, 80% of the victims, the survivors, are female. right? For the female victims, most of, it's like 90-something odd percent, most of the perpetrators are male, okay? There's a much smaller number that victimize female-to-female victimization. For the boys, it's a little bit more middle of the road. Boys, it's like 55% male perpetrators, 45% female perpetrators. So boys are a little bit more middle of the road. Girls, it's a very, very predominant male perpetrator led, and the peak age is 14, all right? 14, typically abusing slightly younger girls between the age of 12 to 16. So this is the peak age. So really, we're also talking boys between the age of 12 and 16. So this is fairly non-consensual sexual contact. And when we talk child sexual abuse, it is contact sexual abuse. It doesn't have to require penetration. It could just be touching, fondling, molestation, stuff like that. Less than 20% of child sexual abuse involves penetration. So it's, I believe, 18-ish% would be classified as rape. Okay, the other 88% is more direct contact touching, or other sexual acts like sodomy or stuff like that. So this is, though, a preventable, a large portion of the perpetrators are preventable. What's far less preventable is like the uncle or the dad, the family member that has really close access and more trust, more relationship, more rapport, and the crime is typically perpetrated at home. All right, most of this child sexual abuse is perpetrated in the home. Very, very small bit of it is in public, or at like acquaintance houses. That would be the next one, like personal home, acquaintances, like inside a residence. That is the main place that child sexual abuse is perpetrated. Okay, so look, this reality, everything that I'm working on to see it, to stop it before it happens, and to protect against it when instances of it does happen, if we can educate our young ladies who are being victimized predominantly by juvenile, I'm going to kind of double circle those, by juvenile boys that they know, if we can mitigate these interactions, if we can intervene and educate and equip the folks in these interactions, we can help the girls from becoming victims / survivors of child sexual assault. And we also need to be educating our young men on the criminality of it, self-control, making sure that they understand consent, really helping both of these communities so these guys don't do it and these ladies don't get taken advantage of. All right? We're taking a even-keeled approach on this because for juvenile offenders that are convicted, research has been done at the Moore Center of the Prevention of Child Sexual Abuse that the juvenile offenders that are incarcerated of sexual assault, sexual abuse, 98% of them do not recommit. And that's been associated with very, very high levels of behavioral modification, all right? They have had the consequence of their behavior and they have learned from it. They have been educated, all right? We want to head off the juvenile justice system before they are added to sexual registries, before they commit these crimes, and before they screw their lives up in very, very significant ways. Now, there are portions of that population who they are committing abuse that is heinous or repeated. They're showing patterns of predatory behavior, and there needs to be proper intervention of those individuals. A greater number of those, though, are preventable through, I believe, good education, which incorporates storytelling, getting these kids to resonate and understand all of these kind of factors. So I've rambled on a little while about child sexual assault, and I want to thank you. I hope that you've picked up some good nuggets. If you are listening and you have kids, this 100% applies to you. 100%, this is for you. We need to be educating ourselves on how to teach our kids about safe secrets, safe behaviors, unsafe behaviors, how to come to us and disclose if they've been abused. We need to have these conversations with our kids and be educating them. So that way the only education that they're getting, we don't want the only education they're getting to be from perpetrators. And those perpetrators are telling them, this is our secret. And you can't tell anyone about this. And if you do, I'm gonna hurt you. Or I'm gonna hurt your family. I know where you live. All these things that predators may say, this is a form of education, of predatory reinforcement to keep these kids from coming out into the light and acknowledging their abuse or reporting their abuse. So let's make sure that we're educating our kids. I'm working on a course that's going through some beta testing right now to get some really solid feedback, doing videos kind of like this. If you're on the podcast kind of listening like this, I'm in my garage shooting off with my iPhone. I don't have any mics yet. This podcast is very low budget at the moment. We're going to work on it, okay? But I hope that there was a gold nugget in there and that kind of resonates with you as a parent, to take a cursory look into some things. And down in the show notes, I'll post a link, or the YouTube description there. I will post some resources that you can access to further educate yourself. And when my course is ready, you guys will hear about it. Hopefully, if you're from the future and you're listening to this, these are gold nuggets that we talk about in our course, and you're like, yeah, I know all these. Excellent, very good. I hope you took the course. Okay, all you future focused people. So moving on from that, I have a couple little things that I want to do for the podcast. This is going to be a Christian-owned, run business that I want to honor God with. So I'm going to be talking about what we're doing as a business to develop in some of these podcasts. So kind of going to have a business name. We're going to talk this problem, this issue. I want to be bringing in experts to talk about child sexual abuse and assault. I want to be talking to other business owners. So if these are things that kind of resonate with you, then you are my people. Hello, my people. And we're going to have a good time. My goal, I heard this from Alex Hormozy, if you can just get to 21 podcasts, 21 podcasts is the 1%. 1% of podcasts make it to the 21st episode. So if we make it to the 21st episode, and we will, then we are the top 1% podcast for martial arts and business, or business martial arts, as I develop my voice, because right now nobody's listening. As I develop my voice, we're going to have a good time, learn along this journey. I'm really influenced by Alex Hormozy, a lot of business stuff that I hear from him. I'm going to try really hard to implement and document here. So $100 million offers, his prior book, Gym Launch Secrets, if I can apply that to the martial arts marketing and sales side and running that business profitably. And then his new book that's coming out soon, $100 Million Leads. I'll be talking about some of those and implementing those business practices, as well as talking about all of this from a Christian perspective. Because as a Christian entrepreneur, I'm not in it just to make the money, right? I have to provide for my family. It is a biblical command. I cannot just give everything away and let my family starve. That would be irresponsible. I have children. Got to make sure they're fed. Or that is neglect, right? And I don't want to become one of these people. Child abuse / neglect, not going to happen. So as a Christian entrepreneur, I'm here to make money, but if I'm profitable, it's because I'm serving people first, all right? People before profits. But let me tell you something about the people that I'll eventually serve, right? Future employees and future clients and some of my current clients. To serve both of those people really, really well, I have to cash flow. And when I have profits in the business, which means I'm running sufficient margins to re-put money into a business, that allows me to grow the business, serve more clients at a high level, because I'm able to give them better stuff and service and products because I have cash flow to work with and reinvest into the business. I serve the people better, and then I get to pay my employees well because we are a profitable business, and I'm able to take home enough to provide for my family and start to pay other folks and provide for their families, all right? So then I'm taking that burden on as a business owner, not just my own family's health and welfare, but other folks' families' health and welfare. So I believe 100% that to take care of people the best with those profits, I have to be profitable, which means I need to make the money, okay? I have to run good margins, which means I have to charge appropriately, okay? Being cheap is not Christian, all right? If you're a Christian business owner, that doesn't mean that you just always sell everything really, really cheap because you don't want to be greedy, all right? If you're providing a very valuable service, you need to price yourself accordingly. Read Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Offers book. It's 99 cents on Amazon. Love you, Alex. Even though you're a completely different worldview than me, I'll high five you all day, all right? I'll try to talk Jesus with you one day, the Lord willing. But yeah, anyway, so we'll talk business. We'll talk martial arts. We'll talk child sexual abuse and how to stop it. All right, we'll talk with experts. We'll talk with other business owners. We're gonna have a good time. So thank you for listening to me ramble. If there is something that you would like to hear about in the podcast, a big topic, or maybe something about any of those things that we brought up, like, hey, how do you handle being a Christian and an entrepreneur? Or, hey, how do you handle child sexual assault and this, blah, 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 just ask me. All right, so we'll talk about it. This podcast will grow as I find my voice and you guys listen and give me feedback about some things that you would really like to hear about. So this was our first introductory episode. Thank you for listening to Kingdom Building, where we are talking about all things kingdom martial arts and the things we're doing and making sure that we honor God and prevent child sexual abuse along the way. Thank you so much.